everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. Just going to give you a quick review of the 1-1 draw at home to Chelsea. Again, look, I predicted a loss before that game, so can't, on the face of it, you can't turn your nose up at another point. It takes us up a place or two. We're still, we've got to keep our eye on those 3 o'clock kickoffs because we still could end up back in the bottom 3. Was it a point earned? Was it 2 points dropped? That's down to you, really. In my opinion, it was 2 points dropped. There were some positives from that. There were a lot of negatives as well, which I'll go into. I'm not going to go through it stage by stage. I think we all saw what happened in the first half. I said before this game, if we sit off of Chelsea, a team that are on the ropes, that have been awful in recent games, a team that don't like it up them, they don't like being pressed, they don't like being pressed high, because they're trying to get to grips with playing out from the back and stuff like that. So if you press them high, like Fulham did, you get in their faces, they make mistakes. And we saw glimpses of that in the first half, particularly with Cucurella at left back and Badiashile. They're trying to play these little triangles to draw you in, but they had no out ball. So they've not cracked it yet. They're really vulnerable, but we just sat off of them. It was a miracle that come half-time. I mean, we scored completely against the run of play. Good goal, defensive error by Reece James. He just switched off. But we scored against the run of play. Up to that point, with 30 minutes gone, we had 14% possession against a shit Chelsea team at the moment. Player for player, they're not shit. They're one of the best teams on the planet, but that matters not. You know, players like João Felix and all these others, they looked like amazing players because we were just giving them the ball, and we weren't getting anywhere near them. We weren't pressing them. They were just playing around us. It was a miracle it weren't out of sight at half-time. An absolute fucking miracle that it wasn't 4-1 or 5-1. It was that bad in the first half. Yes, we got the goal, but for the entirety of that game, we had about 5 minutes after we scored where we sort of pushed them back a little bit, but after that, it kind of we resumed service. Obviously, in the first half, we had Paquetá going down and going off. That gave Moyes, he's very early as well. That gave Moyes his wet dream of being able to get Souček back on the pitch, who done all right. Had a goal chalked off, could have given away a penalty, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, it kind of, like I say, on the face of it, we're back to shithouse again. And I suppose at this stage of the season, points are all that matters. You've got to get points. But my point is, we've got the ability in our team to do more than that. We could have done more to Chelsea. We could have got all 3 points. They're not all that. They've got attacking threat, but we just allowed them. We invited them on. We just sat a defensive fucking block. I mean, you could say we defended well, but we didn't because they had countless chances. Absolutely countless chances. Aguero wasn't great today before he got injured, which again we'll talk about in a minute. That's another negative. Kehrer was probably the better of the back 3 today. I thought Aguero really, really struggled. But no, at half-time, I said the same thing. I said, look, we can't do what we did. It's a miracle we're still in this game. We can't do what we did at the end of in the first half. In the second half, we've got to get at them. Look at their vulnerabilities. We saw it firsthand. We saw how shaky they are defensively. They can't play it from the back. I don't know why they're trying to do it. You know, they're playing these little triangles, but by the side of their own 18-yard box, just press them. They'll make mistakes. You know, we did it occasionally, but not enough. Not enough. You've got to peg them back and expose their weaknesses. But all we did was invite them on to expose ours. We saw the problem with playing 3 at the back, and the problem with playing 3 at the back when you're playing against good teams that are not playing that system is you get outnumbered in midfield. That's what happens. You're playing 2 versus 3. So you're never, ever going to get any joy at all in the middle of the park. You know, Chelsea completely dominated. Absolutely dominated that game in the middle with Felix, what's his name, Loftus-Cheek, and the new guy, Enzo, who was fantastic. He was outstanding. But they're outnumbering our boys, so they're not going to have a chance. You know, that's kind of how Paqueta got injured because it was 2-on-1. He got sandwiched. So again, I don't like the back 3. I don't. There's too many flaws in it. It's great if you just want to set a roadblock because you've got your bank of 3, you pull your full-backs back, so you've got a back 5, then you've got your 2 holding midfielders, you've got 7 men behind the ball. But we're playing like a hybrid as well because occasionally what we did was we pushed up. But whenever we pushed up, we got hit on a counter. And like I say, Aguerd did the same again, although I think that was more poor from Havertz and Aguerd being good, where he did get back and recover. Havertz just took an age to strike the ball. But there was plenty of opportunities for them to sort of get in behind us. They didn't. They had lots of shots on goal. And the second half, you know, he made a few changes in just after 60 minutes. I think it was 66 minutes. He brought on Ings for Antonio and he took off Benny for Downs. And it was just back to the more conventional, old-fashioned West Ham that we were last year. The shithouse West Ham that I can't fucking stand. And I know we've got to get points by hook or by crook. And it almost paid off. It almost paid off. You know, we almost got that goal at the end. It was very close, but they had 2 goals chalked off to offside. We had 1 goal chalked off to offside. It was you know, it evens itself out, I suppose. And it was offside. There was 2 players offside for our one. But again, that was from a set piece. That was kind of how I felt, that the only way that I felt we was going to score, even though we did kind of score from open play in the first half. Well, we did actually. It was from open play. It was a ball from Soufal on the right hand side. Bowen flicks it on. Emerson finishes it off. Good finish as well. But we weren't creating anything really from open play in that one. Chelsea were luckily trying to be too intricate. They created more than enough chances anyway. But if they'd have been more conventional and started using their width a lot more, would have been all right. They was trying to do an Arsenal and walk the ball in the net. I think it's too complicated what they're trying to do for them. They still should have scored a lot more than what they fucking did. Because, like I say, with the chances that they had, if we had that many chances and didn't score, I'd have been fuming. But that weren't the case. So you can't be displeased with a point because we got away with one. We could have won it, but we absolutely got away with one at home against a poor Chelsea team. You know, we've kind of thank God we didn't lose, because that would have been really frustrating. But again, it's another purgatory result, isn't it? You can't be too frustrated with it. You can't be too happy with it. I'm sure there will be some people that are. But what I don't get in that first half, how can you set your team up against a team like Chelsea at the moment who are struggling? And how can you do that when you've got 60 plus thousand fans at home in your stadium and you set up to not have the ball and not play football? Our fans were just sitting there watching Chelsea play football in the first half. It drives me fucking mad. It does. And I'm sorry I'm moaning, but it's a style of football. I hate it. And Moyes has got his wet dream now. It looks like Paqueta has pulled up with his shoulder. He got sandwiched, went down, knackered his shoulder. He'll probably be out for a few weeks, which means Souček gets to go back in. The one he probably won't be happy with is Aguerd, who held up. He pulled up. He was holding his groin. So that's probably going to be however long out. I don't know. Or the inside of his thigh. You know, so I don't know what that entails. But so yeah, we're down to the bare bones again. We're down to the bare bones at centre back. So a good point, because we didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve it. The players on the pitch were brilliant. They executed Moyes' game plan to the very best of their ability. I can't knock any of them. I can't knock any of the players. The players, they were committed. They chased everything. They did what they was told to do by the manager. My problem is the fucking manager. It is. Before we got, I know I'm jumping about a bit. Before we got our goal disallowed, before we got our goal disallowed, they had a chance where Gallagher's taken a shot from just inside the 18-yard box, and Souček saved it. I mean, I couldn't believe that wasn't awarded. I mean, it was funny. You know, he literally did go down, and he saved it. He blocked it with his hand. So we got a little bit of luck in that one as well, which is always nice. You do need luck in this situation. Well, we got a lot of luck today. We did. Apart from the fucking injuries, which are going to come on to haunt us later on, if they're severe, if they're worse than they look. Hopefully they'll be back in a week, 2 weeks. I think both walked off, didn't they? So hopefully it won't be too bad for either of them. But no, again, it's one point where I think more so than the Newcastle game, because Newcastle were in better form than Chelsea. That was an opportunity missed as far as I'm concerned. We just sat off them and let them do their thing. And they still only managed to score 1 goal. Imagine if you'd have got in their faces, you know. We could easily have won that game. Easily. I didn't realise quite how bad they were defensively, Chelsea. Yeah, they've got players in attack, but my God, the way they try and play out is atrocious. You know, he's not going to last too long, Potter, if he's going to carry on with that, because they're just not getting it. They're not getting it at all. I don't know who to call our man of the match, to be quite honest. I don't know. Maybe Bowen or Antonio. They were both outlets. All midfielders got overrun. Souček, Paqueta and Royce in the middle, but it weren't their fault. Like I say, it's a formation. That was always going to be. Soufal had a half decent game. He weren't surprised he got a yellow card in the end. He was kicking lumps out of them, especially in the first half. So yeah, Soufal played well. I don't know. We'll talk about the man in the match when we do our booze up. But no, it's one of them. I don't feel any worse. I don't feel any better after that. I don't. Yeah, it's a Moyes result, isn't it? You know, but it looks like we've gone back to the drawing board. It looks like we've gone back to shithouse football, to doing what Moyes knows best. So maybe that is the way for him to get points. You know, to points we need to stay up. Maybe that's the only way he can do it, is by playing that style of football. You know, and if that is the case and we're stuck with Moyes, then maybe that's just what we're going to have to suffer. Or maybe you lot aren't suffering it. Maybe you enjoy it. I don't know. I hate it. I hate watching my team without the ball standing off the opposition. I do. I find it embarrassing, especially with the amount of money that was spent and the players that we've got. I mean, why even put Paqueta in that team in the first place, really, with the way that we set up? You might as well just started Souček. There's no point putting him there. You know, he's not going to get on the ball. He's not going to do anything. You know, we weren't set up to play with the ball. So you're just putting him in there as a blocker, and he's not. I know he can do it, but that's not really his thing. Just put Souček in there. Go back to basics, Moyes. Do whatever you think you've got to do to get us our points, to get us out of this trouble. So yeah, like I said, we've got to go. We've got to watch the 3:00 kickoffs very, very closely now, and hope that we don't get a weekend like we did last weekend, because we could very easily, with a couple of draws and the odd win, we could end up back in that bottom three again. So hopefully not, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. So that's it from me. There's not going to be a phone-in show today because I've got stuff I've got to be doing this afternoon. If there is, there might be one later. I'll let you know. Keep an eye out for the on the community section. If I've got time later, then we'll do a quick show. We'll throw that out and you can phone in. But otherwise, we've got the Claret and Booze Up show tomorrow at 8 p.m. with me, Gary, and John. All right then. Okay. Look, that's it from me. Sorry, I can't be really, really positive about that. I'm just not. I think I've given my reasons why. I'll take the point. It's more than what I thought we was going to get before the game, which says everything about how I feel about David Moyes, because I just don't have any confidence in him. So whenever he gets anything, I'm happy. But again, on paper, it looks like we're picking up. You know, we're picking up more points. We're not losing. So I suppose it all helps. It's momentum, as they say. Let's see what happens when we play Spurs and Forest, and hopefully we can just carry on. You know, these points will all be important for us come the end of the season, so you can't sniff at them. Anyway, see you tomorrow night, maybe later tonight. I'll let you know. Come on, you irons.